Hello and welcome to Creating a Bright Future, our October version. Mum, I'm so excited to be here.
So am I, Adam. October, it's the first month of the last quarter of the year, which is the most exciting quarter of the year for me, Adam. I just love Christmas. I love spring. I love summer. I can't wait.
Yeah.
It's so exciting for
And
everyone.
and historically, October is the biggest month as well. So we're excited to have someone tonight, Mum, super special as our guest speaker. She's been here before and she's come back, which is
It
exciting.
is very
We
exciting.
love having you on, so I'd love you to introduce our very special guest speaker
I would
tonight.
love to introduce Lee, and I just put my phone on silent so it won't call. Lee is amazing. Lee is one of my colleagues, a friend, and someone who's given me such wise advice over the years. I just love you, Lee. And we've had lots of fun. Alice has come along on some trips, and it's been amazing. I have a feeling Alice and Adam were out partying one of those trips somewhere.
Yeah.
Uh, so lots of fun, lots of knowledge, and just love listening to you, Lee. I feel that you just give us a different perspective on some of the basics, really makes me think, and I really enjoy that. I did ask Lee for some of her highlights, perhaps three of her highlights. I know there's very many, and a goal. So, one of her favorite holidays was the trip to Barcelona. And it was a Tupperware Chairman's Challenge trip
Ooh.
that was absolutely amazing. I had that trip and I just loved every minute. Talk about just feeling like the rich and the famous, which was wonderful. It was very special. Another special trip was Cape Town, where she was able to take Alice, her daughter, with her. And you went to Cape Town, Adam.
Mhm.
Is that where you and Alice went partying, perhaps on one of those
I don't
nights
know.
out? You don't remember.
Alice remembers.
Cape Town was exceptional.
It was an
Yeah.
exceptional trip. And another highlight, because I did ask Lee about her favorite car, and she had a couple of favorites, the BMW convertible and the Lexus convertible, but the Lexus won in her mind. It was just wonderful. She described it as a hot car and a sports car. And one of the goals, a personal goal that Lee has got for 2027. So I'd love you all to write down what is your personal goal in 2027? Or maybe you want to join Lee. And Lee wants to be and is going to be with Alice at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, which is just near, I wasn't quite sure where Azerbaijan
No, I
was.
haven't heard of Azerbaijan.
So it used to be part of Russia,
Yeah.
and it's sort of between Russia and Saudi Arabia, but it's its own place now.
Cool.
Isn't that cool?
Mm.
It could be a new place in the world you could write
It
down,
could be.
Adam. So the Grand Prix, Lee is known to love going to Grand Prix, football matches, AFL, hold parties on the AFL weekend where everyone sleeps over. And she also loves knitting and cooking. Okay. And we had a great discussion about the market day that she's doing once a month. And she asked, the first question she asks everyone is, are you a knitter? Okay. So I just love that. Going to learn some great things tonight. And one of the things I love most is I remember we all had dinner at some special conference or event, and Lee had the whole table laughing for about 2 hours. She was so hilarious. So we may get the serious Lee tonight, we may get the funny Lee, or we'll probably get a bit of both. So please help me welcome Lee, and thank you so much for joining us.
Yay.
Thanks, Louise. It's lovely walking down memory lane.
It is
Uh,
fun.
We have had some fantastic times, but yes, Azerbaijan is a new goal because we've just had the Grand Prix there and we watched it again on television and went, no, we just have to go. And the capital city of Azerbaijan is Baku, and it's an old walled city and it's a street race. So it's got a lot going for it. So that's just gone up onto the dream board. Now, I love having new things up on the dream board. So that's the new one up on the dream board. So I'm talking about Christmas today. Louise mentioned that I've been doing this little market, and that's where I've been all day today. So it runs from 11 till 4, so it's quite a long day. And it's a funny little, when I say market, you're what you're imagining and what it is are probably two very different things. But I live in Macrae, which is on the Mornington Peninsula. So I'm very blessed to live in a beautiful part of the world. And we have a Coles down the road. And as many of the Coles and supermarkets tend to do, it has a few other shops in it. So there's a baker, a dress shop, a chemist, the post office, which is very handy for us. And I think that's it. Oh, and a general gift shop. That's it. But it is covered. There's a covered passageway. So the lady who runs the dress shop decided she'd set up a maker's market in there. And I wasn't able to go at first because apparently I was in conflict with the chemist, and we've all had that story. But after a few months, she said to me, you know what, bugger it, you can come along. So along I went to my first one and I said, now, how much do I owe you? And she said, oh, no, I can't charge you anything. You're not selling anything. I don't take on bookings, I've got leads. But she does donate a lot of that money to a charity. So I said, no, I'm happy to pay my whatever the others pay, and you can donate that. So it cost me the princely sum of $25. So it's the best $25 I spend in the month. But I have been there today. And the reason that I do start with Are You a Knitter is that sometimes you've got to find an angle. And I think we've all sat at stands lead generating, and we've got our Nutrimetics all around us. And people are very skilled at not meeting your eye, walking past quickly, looking very busy, and not wanting to engage. So my thing was, how can I get them to engage in a non sort of threatening type of way? So a couple of months previous to that, it was International Knit in Public Day. So I'm a knitter, so I put a post in our local community group and said, I've never heard of it, but it's International Knit in Public Day. I'll be down at the coffee shop at 2 o'clock on Saturday. If anyone wants to join me, well, we had 12 come on that first day, and it was fantastic. So we all had such a good time that we decided we'd do it on a fortnightly basis. So a couple of weeks ago, I had 23 turn up. In fact, I was panicking. They just kept rolling in the door. I'm thinking, oh my God, we can't seat all of these people. But it's just a really nice social group. We have some ladies that knit, some that crochet, some that just come for the company. And it's a really lovely group. So I did up a poster that just says, Are you a knitter? And talks a little bit about this knitting group. And I sit on the stand and knit. So I've got my knitting. So people walk past and they're quite intrigued. And it is a maker's market. So it kind of makes sense that I'm sitting there making something. So I'm sitting there knitting and I just say, Are you a knitter? And they'll either go yes or no, I used to, or when my kids were little, and we have a conversation about the knitting club and that they're welcome along, and take a photo of the poster. And today as well, my Christmas launch this year is a fundraiser for the Rosebud Hospital chemotherapy unit. And so we also had a poster for that, and the dress shop in the arcade's doing a fashion parade for that. And one of my friends is a nurse, a chemo nurse there, and she's also an award-winning milliner. And so she's going to have her hats and talk about the process of making hats. And of course, we're coming into spring racing carnival season, so that will be a bit of interest around that. So I also had that poster there to talk about that today. And Jo actually came from the hospital, actually came and sat on the stand with me for a while today, which was terrific as well, because everyone knows her. So we were just chatting non-stop today. But so I would talk about that, I'd talk about that, and I'd say, but you know what? I'm really here for Nutrimetics. And so it was by the time we got onto that, we had the rapport built. We were already chatting. We already had started a relationship. Some of them had already booked in for the fundraiser, which was great. So it's a matter of finding a way to engage with people. We know once we engage with people, and all I had on the stand was a Nutrimoist, a Nutrich oil, and a Nutrich hand cream. And I had a few sachets. I had brochures. And I would put the Nutri-Moist on. People go, oh, it's been years since I've heard of Nutrimetics. I'd say, well, smell this, and I bet it will evoke a memory. And of course, once they smell, and still smells a bit of Nutri-Moist, I've had so much of it on my hand today. But once they have that beautiful smell, they start chatting about their experience with Nutrimetics. So without really stressing a lot, it's quite easy if you're willing to engage and you find a common point with people. So I had one woman came up today and said, oh my God, I've just moved down here and I've been looking for a consultant. She lives about 3 blocks away. So, a lot of that sort of thing happens as well. And one of the other ladies on the stand, I've booked a facial with her. I booked a Christmas party today with another girl. So, it's just very easy and very conversational. But what I want to share with you, I shared this with Louise. She asked me to share with you, go out and just do a bit of hunting for little markets. You don't have to spend an enormous amount of money. I know Marilyn does markets on a frequent basis, and it's a great lead generating tool for her. Find one that's small and one that is happy to have you. While I was on the stand today, one of the other girls on the stand handed me a flyer for another little market that's held in an art gallery down here and invited me to join in it for that at the pricely sum of $20 to be on the stand. So there are those opportunities around if you're open to them. If you're not a knitter, or if you are stumped coming up with some sort of an approach, one of the other approaches that I use a lot and I find is really, really easy is they come past, they go, oh, Nutrimetics. And as soon as they sort of acknowledge who I am, my first comment is, yes, how long has it been since you've seen a Nutrimetics brochure? So that again just opens the conversation, and we talk about the brochure and what's in it and how different it looks from when they may have seen it last time. So find opportunities like that to be able to generate some extra leads for yourself in a really fun way. I really had a ball today. I came home and I wasn't exhausted. I was really quite invigorated. And when you have fun doing your work, that's it. So Christmas, as Louise and Adam said, this is our biggest month of the year, leading into our biggest selling period of the year. So we need to be ready to jump in and take advantage of it. And congratulations, Adam, on your presentation last week. It was absolutely outstanding. And for those of you who are either on now or watching that, I have a question for you. And my question is, how's your prospect list coming along? Adam challenged you to put together a prospect list. How have we been working on that? Because we can think about it all we like, but until it's on paper and committed, and then until you start acting on it, you're not going to be in a position to be able to capitalize on the incredible income opportunity that we have over these next few months. I heard a hint a long time ago, and I thought it was fantastic. It's once you've got your prospect list in place, rank it in ABCs. What are your top 3 sort of priority lists? And then start with your Cs. Because if you're a bit nervous or you're a bit rusty and you stuff that up, it doesn't really matter because they were only a C anyway. So don't waste your A's on your nerves. Because by the time you've got through your C's and you're hitting your B's and your A's, you're in flow. And you've got your patter worked out and you're in a good place. So start with your C's. So if you didn't get an opportunity to see Adam's presentation, I don't want to go over the same things that Adam did. He had a really comprehensive list of how to go about lead generating during this Christmas period. But I want to just add a few other things that you might want to consider as well. So obviously the market idea is there. So have a look at your local shopping centre. Louise asked me about, do I use a drawer in the shopping centre to get leads? And the first time I went, I had my drawer there. I had a couple of lovely Nutrich products all beautifully wrapped in my little drawer box. And I got so busy chatting to people, I got totally sidetracked and I didn't get anyone to go in the drawer, even if they had booked an appointment with me. So I figured, no, I'll just take that off the table. But if it works for you, it works for you. Sometimes that's an easy ask, is to get someone to go in the drawer. But sometimes you find they go in the drawer just because they might win the prize. And then it's a bit discouraging when you ring and you're getting a lot of no's, but you've really set yourself up to get a lot of no's sometimes. So, but totally up to you and how you're trained out. Retirement villages are a gold mine at this time of the year as well. So a lot of retirement villages will have a Christmas shopping day because the residents, I mean, retirement villages aren't aged care facilities. Retirement village people are still very much active, and they have to be to stay there. But they still do have shopping days. They like people to come in and do that. And often they're looking for different people to come in and set up their table in their shopping day. So contact your local retirement villages and just ask if they're having a Christmas shopping day and if there would be room for you to set up a table there. And at those Christmas shopping days, don't just think about the sale on the day, because those people have families and those people have friends, and they love socializing in their villages. So it's not difficult to get a booking to, particularly if you're working out of a treatment folder, and we've got our new one coming very, very soon. But when you've got treatment folder, and you may have your own or your team may have one that you work from, and you're offering them, don't talk about them so much as treatments. Talk about, be thinking about them in terms of an entertainment event, because they're always looking for something to do that's a bit different, that fills in their time. It's an activity. So, that's not a bad word to use, that, I have several activities that I can offer you that I'm sure you and your friends would really enjoy. It's kind of more their language. So have a go at doing that. You'll find that they've got plenty of money to spend usually. They're very good spenders. And they're very good repeat business as well. And they love eyebrow pencil. And often that's what I do on my stand, is I actually have like a little brow bar, and I sit them there and do their eyebrows, and they all walk away, go, oh, look. So that's a bit of fun. The one thing not to ignore in this period is your pot of gold, and your pot of gold is your customer list. So you can spend all the time in the world going out and prospecting, but really your easiest prospect list is your customer list, because they already have a relationship with you. They already love the product, or they wouldn't have bought. And they are sitting there prime for you to make contact and make an offer to them. Have a look at who ordered from you during this period last year, who bought Christmas from you last year, because they are a prime target for this year. And one of the good approaches to take, because sometimes, I ask my customers to have treatments, or I don't even mind calling it a party just between us girls, but I ask them to have parties with me on a semi-regular basis. If my diary's looking a bit thin, I might just pick up the phone and ring and offer to come and show them a new product, come and do something with Calm, or something, a platinum treatment, or something that they might not have been exposed to before. But over Christmas, it's super easy. Get a brochure in their hand. So I do the old-fashioned mail outs, as I know Adam and Louise do as well. Get a brochure in their hand, follow up that brochure, and the line that I use is, if you were going to spoil yourself with one thing from this Christmas brochure, what would it be? Now, once you've got the answer to that question, it's very easy to use that as the incentive for them to gather a few friends around their dining table, for you to come and show the Christmas range, and then that becomes their gift for having you there. So you're not reinventing the wheel, you're just offering them something that they really want and they really value. So again, that's, if you were to spoil yourself with one thing from this Christmas range, what would it be? And I do say one thing, because I don't want them to say, oh, I'd spoil myself with the platinum set. Well, you might have to have a few more than one Christmas gathering to get that one on a freebie. But, even if they did say, oh, I'd love the platinum set for myself for Christmas, well, let me show you a way that could cost you a little less. There's always a way around it. There's always something that we can do around that. So work around that. Now, I also want to talk about what the very best Christmas gift that we have to offer is, and the very best Christmas gift that we have to offer in any year, no matter what color the brochure is, no matter how beautiful the brochure is, whether it's A4, A3, A1, or A whatever, is the business opportunity. And this year, more than any, we have the tools to be able to present this business opportunity in such a way that it becomes pretty much irresistible. Now, I'm not talking here about signing someone up for a free account they can purchase for themselves, because that's not the business opportunity. That's something different again. So I'm just going to separate that out and talk about the business opportunities. So you would have seen come out yesterday the flyer on the new business building packs. And we're super excited about this. So this, mine's black and white. I'm a bit stingy on the ink. But this is the flyer that came out yesterday. And it gives us treatment packs. Now, the idea of that flyer is that someone joins and they can choose one or two or three or all three of those treatment packs. And they pretty much then have a full kit. Well, they do have a full kit that they can go out and earn some money with. Now, it's powerful in a number of ways, and I'm going to break it down and go through it with you. But it goes back to, we have two opportunities to offer people: the opportunity to save some money and the opportunity to make some money. And they are two different opportunities. So in the opportunity to make some money, I think what we've probably been missing for the last little while is a very clear pathway on paper that's been given as a way for us just to hand over and say, well, here's what you can do, and this is how you do it, and this is what you can earn. And I love Adam's sheet that he used the other night, and I did screenshot it and print it off, Adam. I love that monthly income potential sheet, because it does break down how many treatments do you need to do to earn X amount of money, and it's in their court. How much do they want to earn? The business opportunity is really the gift that just keeps on giving and giving and giving and giving. And the best place to find the workers in your team when you're looking to build and grow a team, as I know many of you that are watching this for that purpose. You tune in to this series of videos for that purpose, because you do want to build and grow a business. So if you want to find workers that are going to contribute to your team in a meaningful way, that are going to walk through the development program under your guidance, then the best place to find a worker is in the workplace. And our workplace is around a dining table or around a lounge room in someone's home. The important thing to do when we go there is to remember that this is a treatment. This is not a masterclass. Your masterclass sits over there as well. That's something different again. This is a treatment. When you want people to join your team to earn some money, they need to look at what you're doing and say, I can do that. I can do that as well. And sometimes it means, particularly for us that have been around for a while, we have to kind of dumb it down a bit. We don't need them to look at us and say, oh, you've been to the University of Skidgare. That's not the message that we want to impart. The message we want to impart is, this is easy, this is fun, you can do it, and you can earn money from this as well. So really important that it's very simple and duplicable. Use really simple elements. And I still like, even when I do a Christmas, just a Christmas shopping hour around a table, I always talk about it being around the dining table, because people then can figure, yeah, I can fit 6, or I can fit 5, or I can fit 8, but it kind of gives a number without you saying we need to have 6 to 8 there. It's, as many that fit around your dining table. But I always start the same way. I always start in the kitchen, at the kitchen sink. And when I do my hostess coaching, I let her know that I'm going to be doing that so she's not embarrassed with dishes in the sink or, a kitchen in a state that she's not happy for the visitors to see. And I always start with a hand scrub as people arrive. And it's a very good thing when you're training your new consultants. It's a very good thing to teach them because, again, it helps them to engage. And it's that engagement that's so critical, that building rapport. And it helps to break the ice. Sometimes if you don't do that, you sit in the lounge room or you sit around the dining table and you're waiting for everyone to arrive. And it can be a bit awkward and uncomfortable. And then sometimes the people that are there start chatting about things that aren't related to what we're doing. And it can be really hard to pull it back in and say, rightio, let's get started now, because they're deeply talking about what happened at Mary's school the other day and the teacher that's having the affair with the traffic girl and whatever. So you've got to break that bubble. And I find for me, and easy to train on, is just to go to the kitchen sink as people arrive, touch them. The power of touch is incredibly important. Do one hand, and it gives you a chance while you're doing that. They can't get away from you because you're holding their hand. So while you're holding their hand and giving it a nice polish, you can be asking, how do you know Sue? How long have you, you work with Sue? What sort of work do you both do? It's all that fact finding, but in a very conversational way. I like to say that if they say, yeah, I'm a teacher at whatever, I say, oh, do you love your job? Now, not many people answer that in a positive way. Most people go, no, you've got to be kidding. Blah, blah, blah. So this all just gets filed away. I don't use any of this information in the kitchen. This is information for the dining table later. So it's just fact finding. It's getting a feel for who's there, but it also keeps me busy while the others are arriving. Now, I traditionally would use the apricot sugar scrub, and I'm still working my way through all this new program, but the apricot sugar scrub still is the reward for the first refer a friend. So I'm kind of inclined to still use that, but I could also use the glycolic scrub and do that on the hand. And possibly that's what I will do because that's part of the welcome gift, or it is the welcome gift. It's a body and a face scrub, so it does give you the opportunity to have a conversation about that, and it is a new product, so it might be something that's a bit less expected than a Nutri-Rich product. So, although I do like telling the Nutri-Rich story too, I must say. But anyway, look, it's there. We do whatever we feel comfortable with. I'll probably mix it up for a while until I find which one I prefer. So once I've done all my hand treatments, then I like to call, everyone goes off after they have their hand treatment. They're all happy. They're all going, oh, can't you see the difference? So already you're getting some really good positive feedback. But then I call them all back into the kitchen, say, look, girls, back in here before we start, quick, I need a minute of your time. And I do the old broccoli trick. So I take my 2 bunches of broccoli with me. I ask them who washes their vegetables and fruit before they eat them. They put their hands up. I pick someone. By then I've done a hand scrub. I know the ones that I can kind of pick on and have a bit of fun with without them being offended. I've sussed that out. So I'll pick someone. I say, show me how you wash your broccoli. And inevitably they run it under the tap and that's it. So then let me show you how I wash my broccoli. And I'll put the few drops of OSC in about an inch of water, swirl it around, rinse it, show them how the water runs through, show the difference in colour. And then I explain how broccoli in particular, it has a wax on it to seal in all of those herbicides and pesticides so they don't wash off in the rain while it's growing. So just washing it just running it underwater doesn't get rid of it. So, we don't want to ingest that. We don't want our family to ingest that. It's really important that we do clean our fruit and vegetables. Then I hand the broccoli to my hostess and I say, this is part of my hostess gift when I come to your home. So book with me tonight and you too can get some of your weekly shopping done. And again, you're just making light of it. You're just having some fun. And from there, we go into the table and we start whatever the treatment is that we're doing. It gives you, I like the glycolic scrub. Well, in fact, both of them give you an opportunity to link that product back into the joining opportunity, one as the gift, one as the refer a friend. So either of it works in that way. And the OLC is a great order booster. So if you imagine adding an OLC onto every order, because it's always on special, it's in the back of the book at a great everyday low price. It's an always on special product. And I have it sitting in front of me when I'm doing the order. So I take the order, I pick up the bottle, and I say to them, "So are we going to? So are you going to stop poisoning your family?" And I say it with a bit of a cheeky way, but I got to tell you that probably if I've got six there, four will buy the OLC because it's a pretty hard question to say no to. So that's just a nice little thing for an add-on sale. When you've got someone using our beautiful NutriClean products, you've got good repeat business. So the more people you can get onto OLC, CLC, Heavy Clean, the better your repeat business is. And when they ring to order a cleaning product, inevitably they'll order the hand cream that's on a good special or the Jasmine body hand and body wash because that's a really good price. So you get those little add-ons to your NutriClean order as well. I won't go through the actual body of the party itself. That's a whole different conversation in another hour. But I still follow the same steps. I have fun. I very rarely do a face. It's all back of hand. So the product gets passed around. It's all back of hand. Everyone gets to have a go at it. Depending on what I'm using, I'll get them to use the other hand to the one that's already been treated. Or sometimes I'll say, no, you've had glycolic acid on that hand, which means it's really ready to enjoy this serum now. So, there's different ways that you can tackle that, but I'd rather have everyone enjoy it than one person enjoy it. I'm quite happy for people to come to my place to get a facial if they want to experience everything on their face. So we do that all around the table and we have a bit of fun with that. I don't do a display. If I do a display, someone's looking at something while I'm talking about something else. I find it really distracting. So my display is the bag beside me and I just bring out the product as I use it and then it sits in front of me for the rest of the time, and then I do my one-on-ones in that spot and I've got the product there. It just keeps control of the situation for me. I can talk long enough. I can go off track enough. I don't need everyone there to do it with me. One thing I am bringing back, and I haven't done it yet, but I am bringing it back. And for those of you that have been around for a while, you'll smile, but I'm bringing back the little black bag, except it's going to be the little silver bag, and I'll use the beautiful Christmas bag because I think when we look at bringing people in now for the business, having a system that's easy to duplicate and being able to train that out, that's a really good prop for them to be able to talk and introduce the talk about the business. So what am I talking about? There's probably people on here that don't know what I'm talking about, but it's just having a bag. We used to have a black bag and we called it the little black bag program. But as I said, I think the bags in the Christmas thing look beautiful in the photo. I'm sure they'll be beautiful when we get them next week. So I'm going to use that. And in there will go the props. So what are the things that people find very appealing about getting involved in a direct selling business? And we know what they are. So we know it's flexibility is a really big one. The ability to be able to organize your work around your life rather than your life around your work. So to symbolize that, a little clock or even a photo, like laminated photos are fine if you haven't got other things. It's just a matter of having the prop. So a prop of a little clock or a photo of a clock can go into your bag. Travel is always a big one. People love travel. So a little plane or an old passport or a passport cover or a ticket or something that speaks to travel can go in there. I love to have a little car in there because it prompts us to talk about the car program and how a car is available to anyone that joins. It's just a matter of choice. So the car, and I talk about, my favorite car and how it saved our family so much money over so many years, being able to drive a Nutrimetics car, and also how it's a real privilege because it's like driving a billboard on wheels. It's a great tool to be able to let people in your local area know that you're there and what you do. And I love it now that we have our names on the back of the car. That's fantastic. Um, so that goes in. I remember we used to always have $1,000 in play money that we would laminate and have on the little hook, and we'd fan that out. So that's going back in, the opportunity to earn some extra money. It might be that you're in a position where you love Nutrimetics because it enables you to spend more time with your kids at school. So find an image of maybe school sports day or something like that that you can pop in there as well. Personalize it as much as you can. But the thing that I love about it, it's not just a prop that reminds us to talk about it, but it's a really good tool when you hand them out and say, hang on to the one that you like the most. And that's why I'm thinking I might use laminates because I'd have doubles in there or multiples. So, I might have, three different clocks, three different photos of clocks. So I'll pass the bag around and ask them to pick out the thing that means the most to them. Again, it's not the time at that point to say, oh, it's great, Adam, that you picked the clock. Let me talk to you about how this can, But when you have your one-on-one later, that's when you're just fact finding, you're fact gathering, you're getting as much information as you can so that when you present the business opportunity to that person, you're presenting the business opportunity that is almost crafted to that person. So you've got some idea of what it is that they love. Adam mentioned in his talk his $500 and his $5,000 question. I ask it a little bit differently, same principle though. So when you pull out of your bag your cash, it gives you a great opportunity to ask that question. So the way I ask it is, if I was to give you $500 today, and you didn't have to tell anyone that I gave it to you, what would you spend that on? So you'll get all sorts of answers around that. And then I say to them, if I was able to give you $2,000 a month every month for the next 2 years, what would you love to do with that? And that's when you get a different set of answers, and you'll get things like help pay off the mortgage, or I'd save up to take the kids to Disneyland, or I'd buy a new car, or I'd whatever. So why are those questions important? They're really important, and they've become increasingly important with the way our economy is and the way people are feeling about money and their house and everything at the moment. Because it helps you to determine in a generality, so keep in mind it is a generality, but it does help you to determine whether someone is in a critical or a disposable income situation. So if that $500 question comes back and it's about, I'd pay off my credit card, I'd buy school shoes for the kids, I'd pay off my bills, that is an indicator that there is a critical income situation there. If the answer comes back and it says, I'd buy myself a fabulous outfit for Christmas, I'd buy a new pair of shoes, I'd go away. I like to say this, I'll go away on a dirty weekend with my husband or someone else's husband. Whatever answer you get on that end of the spectrum indicates that they're in a more of a disposable income situation. Because when people are in a critical income situation, one of the saddest things that is they lose the ability to dream. One of the greatest gifts we have in Nutrimetics is to restore people's dreams and to give them back the ability to dream. What a wonderful thing. I mean, we say those words, but when you really think about it, that is an awesome opportunity that we have. It's an awesome responsibility that we have, that we let people know that exists. So, and then the 2,000 a month question really is a bit of an indication as to what their longer term goals are. So once we can breach the critical income situation and get them into a degree of comfort with their day-to-day living, then we've got an indication of what will inspire them to move forward. But they're not going to be inspired with a trip to Disneyland if they're going to have the electricity cut off next week, I can tell you now. You can talk trips and cars and travel all you like, and it'll be straight over their head. And I think it's also respectful to get a feeling for that so that you are pitching it the right way. Um, so now we've got this fabulous tool that we can use that supports that. So if I do that during my silver bag presentation and I've got all that sort of stored up, then I do all my, treatments, backs of hands, have all of that fun. Then when I sit down at the end, one-on-one with them, one by one, incredibly important, that last bit of your event is, because if you present to the whole group, you'll walk away very disappointed. It's really critical that you get people one by one to come and talk with you. So that means you can't take forever either, because the hostess wants them out of the house at some stage in the evening. So it needs to be brief and it needs to be to the point. So the first thing I do is I use a docket book still. Remember the old docket books with the three? Yep. So when I'm at my party, I use a docket book. And I tell you why I use the docket book. It's not just so that, they can have a copy, I can have a copy, because I could use an order pad and just take a photo of it. But I use that docket book and I say, okay, Lisa, let's have a look at what we've used tonight and what of those products you would really love. So we go through that, and then I have a look at her skin and whatever. I have a look at what she thinks she needs. And look, I might say sometimes, oh, not so sure about that one. Maybe this would be better placed for you and your skin to start you off with. Like if someone's used soap and water and they reckon they want the full platinum set, you're heading for trouble there, really. And so I often will say, well, I'm not going to let you have that yet. You've got to earn the right to have that set. Because I know they're going to end up putting it in their bathroom cupboard, never using it. And every time they open the bathroom cupboard, they're going to say, that bloody Lee Arhens, I spent all that money. What a waste. So I would rather them start with a foaming cleanser, a toner and a moisturizer, and at least get that done. And if all else fails, give them a foam fresh cleanser toner and a smart shield. So it's 4 steps in 2. It's the lazy person skincare program. And they will see a difference with those 2 products, and then they'll be encouraged to add the next one and add the next one and add the next one. It's a journey. I'm going to see this person more than once. I want this person to be a customer of mine for a long time, and I want them to be happy, and I want them to see that journey with their skin and their skincare. I mean, I would never tell them that I use like a 15-step skincare program, because that would just terrify them. But, we're in a fortunate position that we can, and we understand how to use it. So when I take the order, I then keep writing, and I say, let me just jot down for you what the products are that I think are really perfect for you and for your skin. And I said, don't stress. This isn't the order yet. It's not the order until we add it up and we agree on the order. But I want you to be able to take a copy of this away, because I'm going to be sending you a brochure every month. And you can keep an eye out for the things that you want or need when they're on special. So that's a good reason to do that. It's also good for them to take that away and have that as their list. But my other aim in that is to find something, because they'll reach a point. Most people have got a bit of a budget when they go out to something like that. So you might get to 120 or 130, and then there's the next product that they want, and you can feel that moment of madness of will I, won't I, will I, won't I, will I, won't I. And that's something that we can capitalize on to get a booking from our party. Okay, so if someone, say, for example, they've ordered their basic, they've got their cleanser, their toner, their moisturizer, their day cream, but they're umming and ahhing about a night cream, or they're umming and ahhing about a moisturizing system or a glycolic acid or whatever else we've talked about that they've reckons fantastic, then I have an opportunity to say to them, Lisa, if I was able to add that glycolic scrub into your order at no cost to you, how would you feel about that? So of course, she's going to feel a bit happy about that and a bit suspicious because I'd be a bit suspicious too. So she's probably a bit suspicious. So I gauged that from her body language. Which way is she going? Is she being super excited? Is she being suspicious? Most tend to suspicion. So I say, okay, I know there is a catch. Let me tell you what the catch is. When you have your girlfriends around your table and I come and do the next treatment for you, whichever one we've talked about, you have to have been using that glycolic scrub already and you have to do the ad for it. Okay, so the catch is not having their girlfriends around the dining table. The catch is she's got to do the ad for the free product that she's been enjoying for the last couple of weeks. So that is actually quite powerful, and I have a very good success rate with that. Now, I have people ask it on, if I was looking at the comments, I'd probably go, yeah, but what happens if they take the product and they don't have the party? Well, if that's your mindset, that probably will be your outcome. But I'm a great one for expectations, and I really believe people will live up to or down to your expectations of them. Very rarely have I ever been disappointed like that, and I've been in the business for more than 30 years. So it's a very rare occasion. People will do the right thing. You would do the right thing, wouldn't you? So why wouldn't someone else do the right thing? I do have to sometimes remind them when I'm doing the hostess coaching on my last call to them that they need to do the ad. So how have you been enjoying the scrub? Have you been thinking about the things you love most about it? Because remember, you've got to do the ad. You're up for the ad. But also, you see, when their friends come and we talk about the glycolic scrub or whatever the product is that they've got for free and have been enjoying, how much more powerful for the person they know to tell them how good that product is than for me to tell them how good that product is. So it has a whole lot of benefits. That is part of their hostess offer. It's not a booking gift and then they get a hostess offer. So, because quite often it can be quite a valuable product. So that would form part of the hostess offer. And I would say to them, I will give you that in advance for having your girlfriends around. That would normally be my offer on the night, but I know you want to start using it and enjoying it now. So the conversation's never around, would you like to have some girls around? It's assuming that's going to happen because the focus is on giving them the product that they love. Now, some will say, oh, I don't know if I've got enough friends to come around, or you're still going to get objections and you're still not going to have a 100% success rate. But you certainly will get a more of a success rate than not using that, or by offering a more generic gift that might not appeal to them. So it's about using something. How am I going for time? Oh, I do love to chat. It's about using something, using something as a tool that will really appeal to them. I do want to talk about this Kickstart Your Success program, particularly coming into this period. It is just an absolute game changer. Now, when we talk, the other thing I just want to mention too is when you go to your party and your objective is to get bookings, and when you do a starter party for someone, a welcome or an introduction or a business kickstart, whatever you want to call it, and you're doing it for that person, your focus is to get bookings for them. So just be careful about offering a free account to the other guests at the party because you will cut that new consultant off at the knees. She needs to book with them first and then offer them the opportunity at that booking. Don't be in a rush to get everyone in her team because she's not going to see the money for that straight away. You need to get her encouraged first about earning the money, growing her business, and then she can do that. So that's just a little bit on the side. But I do want to talk about this very quickly in my last few minutes. So this is an opportunity for someone who wants to earn some money. Oh, I've got one really important thing. When I'm sitting there with my book and they've booked with me, or they haven't booked with me, but they've placed their order, you can suss out when you're together with a group of people, the ones that have got the shining eyes, we used to call it, the ones that are really listening to what you're saying, they seem really interested, there's a bit of a connection. and not with everyone there, because they will compare notes. And if you've said to everyone, oh, there's something about you that's really special, going, yeah, she said that to me too, that's not genuine, that's not authentic. But pick your marks, one or two, and when you've taken the order, say, you know, Louise, there's something about you that really resonates with me. I think you'd be great at doing what I'm doing. Now, I know immediately, Louise, you're thinking, no, 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 I don't want to do that. I couldn't do these party things like you do. But I want you just to put that aside. What I'd love to do is catch up with you for a coffee, Louise. I want to find out a little bit more about you. I'll share a bit more with you about Nutrimetics, and we'll see where there's a fit. And importantly, Louise, whatever you decide, I'll respect your decision. So is it usually best to catch you during the afternoon or on a weekend? Okay, so that's a really important link. And for those that know me, this is something I've done forever, but I actually like to physically do it because it matches the words I'm saying, and there's two opportunities for that to sink in. Make it really non-threatening. And, I'd say I really, whatever you decide, I'll respect your decision. And the worst possible outcome, Louise, is that we'll enjoy a half an hour together with a coffee. Okay. So that's when we then present the opportunity to them. And that's when I would, go through some more questions. I know Adam has an interview sheet as well, and go through the questions on that sheet. Not like I'm sitting there from the tax office asking them 50 questions, but in a conversational way, just using that sheet as a prompt and gathering the information about them, telling them more about Nutrimetics when we decide that being able to earn some extra income in a flexible way that enables them to work around their family and to determine how many hours they have to spend and to maximize that time by really maximizing our business opportunity plan, then now I can present this to them. So this gives them the packs that they will need to do their treatments. So I would ask a question like, how quickly do you want to be earning that money? So we would have already during the interview gone through, what does your time look, how many slots a week do you have? How much extra money would be handy for you before you're in a position to be able to save for that trip to Azerbaijan? So we've already determined that, and we already know that maybe they need to have 2 slots a month to cover that off. The third and subsequent ones will start their savings plan. So how quickly do we want to step up to this? Now, I don't want you to think about this as a choice of one. I want you to think about this as a total package. So when they have all of these, they can do all of the treatments, particularly when you combine it with all of this, which is the welcome program. So, and we've got sick pay and afterpay, for goodness sake. So when they take the complete kit in a bag, so that's all 3 packs, plus they get the kit bag, that will actually, and you add your welcome. So anyone that's doing that deserves your time to go out and do a welcome party for them. When you add your welcome party to it, they will also get rewards 1, 2, 3, and 4 by buying that pack and having their welcome party. Now that's pretty amazing, isn't it? So they're getting $715 is what they're getting. There's a $376 saving on that. So we've got about $1,100 worth there. Plus they've got, from the rewards, they've got an extra $692 worth of product, plus some accessories. So close enough to $2,000 worth of product. They're going to pay $715, but they're not, because they're going to have at least 25% off the BV of that. So that's going to come down. I did write down how much that was without that. I don't know where. I probably wrote it on. Here it is. So if you take off the 25%, they're only paying $552. Okay, so 552. They put that on to Afterpay. They do 2 treatments a month for 2 months, it's paid. They do 4 treatments in their first month, it's paid. And everything after that's a profit in the best-selling period of the year. And they've got themselves set up with what they need. And then, do that in October and November, December. They're then also going to be getting thank you gifts, bonus gifts, star boxes. It doesn't end. There's always new product being added. And then once you've done their welcome party and you're working on their own bookings, they can then be getting their refer a friend gifts as well. So I'm super excited about this because I think it just really supports us in the responsibility that we have in sharing this opportunity with people in a position where our business opportunity can really affect great change in their life. And I find that exciting. And I think that no matter where we are and how long we've been in the business, that excitement's still there. And we want other people to experience what we've had the pleasure and the privilege of being able to experience in our lives. The fact that I was able to be at home and be a mum. My husband then was able to be at home and co-parent. Not many people are in a position where they've enjoyed that. So I'm going to wrap it up there. I wish you all a fabulous Christmas and get into the workplace to find your workers.
Love it, Lee. Thank you so much for that. Oh my goodness, I wrote so many notes. So I'd love to do a little bit of a recap. And where do I want to start? First of all, just love the back tonight for me from you. You taught us so much. You taught us how to sell. You taught us how to book. You taught us how to lead generate. You taught us how to sponsor for the business, and you taught us how to activate our consultants to achieve their awards. I mean, you just really summed it all up in that hour. It was the most incredible training. I'm so glad that
It's
we
the
have
beauty
this
of a brain map.
recorded. Definitely. So glad that we have this recorded because I know so many people will have such great value from tonight. But love that you started about markets. Like it doesn't have to be expensive to lead generate. And as I spoke about on the Zoom, and that is on the Nutrimetics Beauty Hub for anyone that didn't watch it, if you want to go back and watch that. We spoke a lot about a prospect list and who do you know. And start with that list, but have your add-ons, have your markets, have your lead generation event. The reason that we're all still in business is because we're all still generating leads. And that's what continues to build our business forward. And we encourage anyone that wants to level up to get out there and get more leads. I know, Mum, you always told me that I had to have 100 leads at any one time to be able to call. So if I had a postponement or if I had, something coming up, have some leads, have some people that you can call, go back to your prospect list and get that booking.
And to have 50 get-togethers, 50 whatever. And Sonia Gordon is on, and Sonia was at a training I did many years ago. And she built her business remembering that I said to get 50 bookings in your diary.
Yeah.
And I don't care if they're for a facial, a free makeup, a get together, just somewhere where you can go and connect and chat to people.
And then you'll have a business for life.
You will have a business for life when you do that, as we all have.
Find an angle. Are you a knitter? I just love that. Look, I am not a knitter. But I feel like that would be super engaging if you asked me that. I would say, tell me more. Like, tell me more about this knitting. And what I really got from that is who is your community? That's what I want to ask everyone online. Who is your community, and are you tapping into them? Are you a knitter, and are you tapping into the knitting community? And what can you do? Oh, we've lost our good lighting, Mum.
It's died.
Don't look as fabulous. That's okay. That's okay. We'll survive. But connect to your community. And if you don't have a community that you're connected to, then create one. As Lee did, as simple as putting up a status in your local community group. Love that. So powerful.
I mean,
Incredible.
a lot of us are readers. Why not start a little reading group down at the local cafe? The cafe loves having us there.
And book clubs love activities too. So they absolutely do. I've had lots of book clubs come through my masterclass series. So where are you meeting people? How long has it been since you saw a Nutrimetics brochure? Love that question. I just my niece Charlie is 18 now. She's a sales manager with Nutrimetics, and we were looking at and at being an 18, it's like, oh my gosh, it was at 19, I started going out and doing facials and started going out and doing workshops. She's studying makeup next year, but we were like, what can she do to expand her business now? She's finished school. She has a few exams coming up. So we were like, let's go back to letterbox drops. And we put a tagline like, did you know Nutrimetics is still around on some of them? And another one was not just used by your grandmother, like sort of thing. And then a link to her website. We're like, let's have some fun with this. And
Good.
ask some
Charlie
nice
laughed.
questions. She thought it was great, and she's happy to go and do letterbox shops and hand them do shop knocking and do all the things. Because why not? Lifestyle villages.
Oh, that is so.
Oh, I just can't even comprehend how incredible the opportunity of lifestyle villages is. You could become a manager just on working with lifestyle villages. I did some research and there's over between 3 to 4 thousand lifestyle villages across Australia. And we've had some incredible success, but haven't even touched the surface in what's possible. It's an incredible opportunity. So get out there into your local communities, chat to your lifestyle villages, your over 55s about their Christmas shopping day. Um, who bought from you last year? Such a great question. It's something I didn't even think of. I think of that with mystery bags, but I don't think of that with Christmas. So I thought that was a really great thing to tap into. If you were to spoil yourself with one thing from the Christmas brochure, that's a goodie. So many one-liners that I'm banking here as well. A clear message of your face to face, like how to build a business face to face, which I love. And this, you can do the same thing as well that Lee does face to face online. It's about building relationships and it's about gathering information. It's about asking questions to gather information on how you can service that client. And whether that be with products, whether that be with extra income, the business opportunity. The hand scrub, the glycolic hand scrub. Now we're in a workshop, and I loved that. And the glycolic hand scrub, I'll definitely be doing that at all of my Christmas
It's
pamperings.
face and body, it's called.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a hand scrub for that one, but you can also use it on
Yeah,
your
that's right.
the broccoli. And we've been training out some content pillars about what to be able to do online. And the broccoli is such a great thing. So we're going to add in that question, like, are you poisoning your family? What a great caption for our VIP groups. I think it's great. Where I look at the makeup course that I'm learning at the moment, it's about what are the triggers? How can we trigger to create a response?
Yes.
And that's a trigger, which is fabulous.
Mm.
The little silver bag, and I remember when I started, there was this black bag video that I would show at all my opportunity nights. And it was that exact thing. It was, the opportunity for this girl that worked in direct sale and she pulled everything out of the bag. And look, that's something that we can do in person at our workshops, but also let's bring that little bag into an online space. The hero's journey, which is where you talk about your story, about your experience, about your trips, about your car, about your extra $500 a week online. That's what will get some really incredible traction. I find from the posts that I do, the hero story get the most engagement because people want to see your journey. They're interested in that. So share it with them. Tonight, I felt like it was like I'm going to see Oprah in December. I'm so excited in Brisbane, real conversations with Oprah. And tonight, I felt like it was real conversations with Lee. So I felt like it was just so cool for you to talk to us, for you to give us the goss, to be able to share all the things that you're doing in your business, Lee. It was just absolutely incredible. So thank you so, so much for your time tonight. We so appreciate it. And I know everyone on the radio as well.
It was fantastic, Lee. Lots of love, lots of thanks, lots of gratitude for your time and sharing it with everyone around Australia and New Zealand that wants to gain some knowledge from the people that have been successful for so many years and built $1 million business. That's what we want.
That's right.
So put your hand up if that's what you're going to do. Have a little talk in the chat to say that you are going to take some of those into your habits to become a habit. And why is Lee good at it? Because she made it a habit.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lee. Love it.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Look
Take
forward to
care. We'll
seeing you
post the
soon.
recording in the chat soon.
Thank you.
Awesome. See you
Bye.
guys.
Thanks, girls, for joining too.
Oh, and next month.
Next month,
Da, 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 da.
we have the beautiful Lena Winship.
We do. We have Lena Winship joining us for our November Creating a Bright Future. We're so super excited for Lena on the first Thursday. And then in December, we have a new to the business, Belinda Tonkin, who's just started her first month of sales director.
Yes.
So Belinda will be sharing her business strategies as well.
Yes.
So
And not sales director to be, but sales director. She skipped one of the steps.
well, why not?
Why not?
Awesome. See you guys. Take
Thank
care.
you, everyone.
Thanks, Lee.
Thank you.